Today on the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast, we are discussing WandaVision Season 1, Episode 9, the series finale.
Welcome to the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. My name is Matthew Carroll.
And I'm Jeff Randall.
Jeff Randall, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm dragging today, man.
I hear that. I hear that. You stayed up. You did the late night true fan thing of like, I'm gonna stay up till the first second I can see it, and you're paying for it today. That's what you get for thinking that.
If I had gone to bed like a normal person, like immediately after the episode ended, and maybe had like an hour of conversation rather than 4.
Oh,
it would have been
right.
fine.
Oh, that's right. You guys had like a off-air podcast last night where you just talked about WandaVision all night.
Yeah, I tried real hard to save it for the cast, but that's real difficult when you have a bunch of excited people sitting in a Zoom call.
Well, that's great. That sounds like you will have all of the theories just ready made.
Man, I got all the insights right here.
We're gonna get to it pretty quick. Let's first introduce our producer for the day, Mr. Matthew Westfox.
Who's that?
I'm sorry, Mr. Matthew Fox. You're being changing your name and stuff. This is Matthew Fox, everybody. And thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
We have a live. We're live on twitch.tv/strandedpandatv, where we're going to be live every Friday. So if you guys in the chat would like, just at the ethical panda, so that he knows you would like your feedback included, and we will try to get to your feedback in a little feedback segment later. Love the live feedback; it's super fun. But now let's get into it, man. Jeff? What did you think of this episode?
I have to say, as soon as it was over, the first reaction that I had, other than being incredibly saddened by the events that transpired, was to say, I turned to my wife because she stayed up with me to watch it, and I was like, I feel like I'm disappointed in that ending, but I know that it's my fault. Yeah. It's my fault that I'm disappointed because I put so much on this episode. I put so much on this series. I put so many expectations on it. I had so many theories that were just wildly I was out there. I was way out in left field with all the theories and expectations, and I shouldn't have been because it's one little series. It was not meant to be the first one, and it was not meant to come out after a year and a half of nothing.
Sure.
This is not the way it was meant to be, and this was just supposed to be another cog in the system.
Well, it's another chapter in the story, and I still think it's an amazing one, but it really did, in the end, it stuck to its own story. There's more. It did, yeah. There's more to be told. We've got a lot to speculate about, but this finale is about this story, and we said that a lot. That's very likely going to be the case. I guess we were hoping for something in the post credits or something to really give us a clue of the future. But we got a scroll, and we got the dark hold being used by Wanda, which is those are two huge things to speculate about where they're going. But yeah, we didn't get Doctor Strange. I thought for sure we were going to, especially after all this, you need to learn your craft. You need to you need someone to teach you. Let me teach you. And she's like, I think it was Boss Mama in the live watch was like, she's a quick study because she turned the tables on Agatha pretty well. Right. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I think those exact words are what my wife said about it. Because the runes on the hex.
Yep.
Masterful execution.
Masterful, and I don't know how I didn't see it coming. It was absolutely obvious in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's exactly what should have been the case. So she, the entire time, I guess for a while at least, was completely all of Agatha's power that she was using, she was just either allowing that, or she was actually making it look like it was happening. The whole thing where she became this ghostly visage of herself, and that was all just Wanda doing all of that purple, all that purple wiggly
Wanda.
It's all Wanda. The whole thing is Wanda.
Yep.
Man.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just, man, so like just the magic of it all, right? Like that.
Yeah.
That fight was really intense, but also like the climax of Vision on Vision action really ending with not much action at all.
Dude, one of my favorite scenes.
We were saying in the Zoom call that like Matthew Carroll is going to love this because like he's a Star Trek fan, and just like stopping and having a discussion and like having the discussion being the end of the fight, like that is going to just really tickle that Star Trek fan in him.
The conversation of, I forget the name of the ship, but the idea of like
the ship of Theseus.
The ship of Theseus, which I know that under a few different that argument under a few different terms. There's like the term, the like parable of the shovel or whatever, where like, oh, you broke the handle of the shovel, so you replace the handle, and then you break the spade, so you replace the spade. Is it the same? That's which actually would have been cleaner here because they had basically the body and the Mind Stone, which part is Vision. But like, yeah, I loved their discussion of the ship of Theseus. That was so much fun for me, like just for me. I don't know. There's probably kids watching this show that for like 3 minutes went to sleep, but like I freaking loved it. I loved that they gave them a while to spin in a library and just like discuss philosophy, like it was just so much fun.
Yep. And like, of course it would be Vision that is able to not only deliver a victory through philosophy, but like accept defeat
exactly
for victory. Like,
yeah,
it only works because they're both Vision.
Right. No human would have accepted either the like argument or been able to make the argument. Just Vision.
Right.
It's like,
right. It only works because we have this perfect storm of Vision on both sides.
The humans are up in the air firing bolts of wiggly woos at each other, and the synthezoids are like, let's have a discussion about this.
I require elaboration.
That line, because I knew as soon as he said I require elaboration, I was like, oh, they're just going to have a talk about it. And like, he's going to be convinced by an argument, and I love it.
The thing that he said, my primary programming directive is to destroy Vision or destroy the Vision. I was like, he's gonna convince him that neither of them is Vision, so he's gonna leave.
My initial thought was he's going
to destroy himself.
He's going to destroy himself. Like my job is to destroy Vision, and then he'd be like, "But you're Vision," and then I must implode or something. But this is so much better, convincing him that both are Vision and neither are Vision, because of the fucking ship of Theseus. Like, what the heck? Like, how?
That's so good.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Absolutely. And we did a live reaction. With a bunch of pandas joining in on Zoom, and the idea I had was like, it'll be like an end game moment where like something great will happen and we all won't see it coming and we'll all react big, and then it ended up instead just like a bunch of pandas sitting there crying because this was such a sad episode.
Yeah, man. We say that it was like really epic that the Vision fight ended with words, but like leading up to that, there was still such a huge throwdown that those two were having with each other.
Yeah,
like there was what I called the Dragon Ball Z beam fight. With their heads clashing in midair.
So good.
That was only broken up. Like that was only broken up by Wanda starting to bring down the hex so that the people could escape. But like watching Vision fall out of the sky while like basically Infinity War style dusting as he's coming down, like, oh my God, that killed me.
And the kids like crawling toward their mother while they disintegrate is like a horrible image.
Yeah, I thought that seeing them possibly decapitated was bad. This may have been worse.
Yeah.
may have been worse.
Yeah, and I think it was you, Fox, actually, who mentioned it in the live watch. It was like, I am really glad they didn't make us watch the kids disappear.
Yeah, I thought that was just a very nice, like, let them go to sleep.
Yeah.
Kind of like, let that be the goodbye.
It was merciful for sure.
Yeah, that would have been gratuitous.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Just let them go to sleep.
Well, the whole, the children, her letting the children go and everything is just really hard. Just really hard. That's awful.
It really is. And the line that she said to them, the last line that she said to them, I found in the moment to be really creepy, even though it was really sweet. When she said, "Thank you for choosing me to be your mother," like, that's really touching, but also, like, I kind of want to speculate based on that. Like,
yeah, no, me too. Like, what does that mean?
Is there a soul bucket that she pulled some souls out of? Is there Mephisto shards that she pulled from? Like, what's going on there? Are they going to come back?
Seems like they're saying in the Marvel universe that the soul exists before we're born, kind of thing, like, or something like that. And now she's studying the Darkhold to try to find out what that means. Her studying the Darkhold is obviously ominous, especially with her. I don't know what it's supposed to mean. Like, she's walking around in the other room and having this peaceful time out in the woods, and then the Darkhold has her in the other room obsessing over her children. Does that mean is she like a split personality? Does she know she's doing that? Is it some sort of like Darkhold magic that has a hold on her, some piece of her that's holding her in the room? Or is she like trying to experience both things at once? You know what I mean? Like, I really am curious how she's experiencing this.
The consensus in the Zoom call that we had, so late at night, was that it was her astral form. Like, Doctor Strange style, he was able to study in his sleep.
That's right.
But when your astral form leaves your body can't move usually. Like, so I don't know. Like, maybe that was a manifestation of her mind, like, because her mind's always on the book. She's always thinking about it. So it kind of like split to that. I'm not convinced that it was her astral form. I don't know. Maybe she's just keeping up appearances and that's like a little hologram of herself.
Who's she doing that for?
Yeah, like out in the middle of nowhere. Who's there to keep up appearances?
It seemed to me like she's definitely like trying to experience rest and like grief and feel her loss, but like she is also at the same time obsessing over the Darkhold. And like, maybe it's the fact that she's so powerful, like you talked about with your astral form, that she's able to project her astral form to do a separate task while she's trying to experience rest. The Darkhold has a hold of her in some way and is causing her to obsess, which, does that mean that she will be both the villain and the hero of Doctor Strange?
Yeah. When I saw her like floating in air with all of the red orbs around her, flipping the pages of the Darkhold, I was like, that's a villain turn if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I want to jump in with a question from the chat. The Boss Mama asks, could it be different universe versions of her?
It could be, but we did nothing to do the work for that. So like, why would the different universe version of her be appearing in the cabin with her? And now that we've seen her kind of ascend to the level of power of the Scarlet Witch, that moment where she fully becomes the Scarlet Witch and she's backlit was a call out to her seeing herself in the stone. So that was her seeing herself in her full powered up form, and now she's become that. So I don't see there's a reason for it to be a different universe version of her, and they haven't done the work to get there. But it could be. It does feel like she's splitting herself in two or something. I mean, clearly that's what it feels like.
Yeah, obviously there's some amount of splitting herself, but the only indication that we have for multiverse is the title of Doctor Strange that she's supposed to be in, Multiverse of Madness, and then they talked about multiverse with Spider-Man Far From Home, but it ended up not being a multiversal person. So
and it does seem like she's looking out with the Darkhold into the ether of some sort and reaching out for Billy and Tommy, and she heard Billy scream.
Well, I mean, it was both of them saying, "Mom, help us."
Could she be digging through the multiverse for another version of those kids who actually did exist?
I'm not convinced that was them actually calling out to her.
Right.
I kind of feel like maybe it was some mental health issues because like in the comics, when the kids disappear and that drives her crazy. Like that's what leads to the events of House of M, Avengers Disassembled and everything like that. Like her kids existing, not existing, being taken by Mephisto, whatever, like all of these things are what kind of drives her to the brink where she snaps. No pun intended.
Right.
But I think we might be seeing the beginnings of that. Oh, that's possible. I see the highlight in the chat of somebody talking to me rather than the Ethical Panda. The Ancient One in Doctor Strange does talk about the multiverse.
Yeah, that's true. That's true that they did. It's just we didn't. The multiverse that they use is like this. They used it for like trippy visuals, and then they used it to like introduce demons from dark dimensions. They didn't really like touch on the idea of like
parallel universes.
Yeah, like the idea that there could be like other Earths and stuff. Like it's clearly implied with the visuals of Doctor Strange doing different things and like the multiple Doctor Strange separating, and the idea of him looking into possible futures in Infinity War, but like we still haven't seen a real multiverse brought up. And I really thought this show might get into it, especially since everyone said it was leading into Multiverse of Madness. Like it's important for the events of Multiverse of Madness. Like then, why? Yeah.
Why? But, to be fair. This show was really about dealing with grief, like more than anything.
Yeah.
It was about like sitting with, accepting, working through grief, and Wanda in her grief. But the problem is that Wanda gave herself more grief because she has to let go of her family that she created.
Yeah. It really didn't deal much with dealing with grief. It dealt with
avoiding it.
No, it's sort of the problem of hurting others with your grief, like using your grief as an excuse to hurt others. And then she learned that she was doing that, and then she stopped doing it.
Oh God! Everybody in the town square, like gathering around her, and like if you won't let us go, then just let us die. And she's like, no, you're fine. You're all fine. Like, you all feel fine. I've made sure that you feel fine. Like, she has convinced herself that she is, if she's at least not doing the right thing, that she's at least doing it in a nice way.
Yeah.
And like, that doesn't count, Wanda. That doesn't count.
It also really brought the ideas of like knowing your own power. Need I say privilege? Even. And like knowing your power and knowing that some of the actions you are taking are hurting others. And it's even okay if you didn't know before now. Like, and that's I know Fox will probably disagree with me on this. The forgiveness that she sort of gets at the end, or sort of the pass that she gets for this at the end, is tough to take in some ways because she did a lot of damage, but it was damage she didn't know she was doing. And once you realize you're doing damage, the thing you can do is acknowledge it and stop it. And like getting payback or retribution for that damage isn't as important as being like, let's stop the bleeding, and I'm going to stop being the cause of pain, and I'm going to stop using my power to hurt others. And like, I will even take the hit of it hurting me a little bit, as in this case, hurting her a lot, of losing her family, if it means I'm not using my power to hurt others. Because that's not fair to those people, and they're important too. Like in that case, like it there's a lot of meaning there.
Yeah. Oh man, the bargaining that she attempted to do though, where she was like, what was it? When they were begging her to be let go, and she's like, no, you're all fine. Like, please just let me still have this world. I can make it better. I can fix all of our lives to where like you enjoy it more. And that's it was just like, no, Wanda, no. You can't do that, Wanda.
And I want to jump in here.
That's not what heroes do.
R. Brees had said that I think this incident is going to lead to the public's mistrust and hatred towards mutants, as though like there might be an X-Men connection in here, which to me really resonates because when I heard her saying it, like, no, you'll be fine. To me, I was hearing everything that I like, all the worst parts of Professor X. That same kind of like, no, I can make you all okay. I have the mind control. It's that same kind of dynamic.
I mean, it's the privilege of power, and if you've got the power to kind of set everything in a way that you believe to be good, like you might think that it is your right, your duty even to set it to be good, but like your version of good may not necessarily be everyone else's version of good. Plus, if you take people's agency away in order to, set things good, that's still unethical. Like it's still bad.
Yeah. And we are going to have a ton to discuss on this superhero ethics episode this week. So if you guys haven't subscribed to Super Ethics, we're doing a Super Ethics on WandaVision with Mr. Fox. Our producer here today is also the host of Superhero Ethics, and we're going to do a WandaVision, Ethics of WandaVision episode. So
that's going to be a great episode.
Go subscribe to that.
I don't know how to segue to it, but
it's okay.
Jimmy Woo saying flourish was peak. Jimmy Woo. Him getting out of the handcuffs, like he was doing the close-up magic,
Yeah. Close-up magic and lock picking, like that's another thing you can learn if you sit in your house. Was there a lock picking reference in Ant-Man and the Wasp? Or am I crazy?
I don't think so.
Okay, there's some movie where I remember somebody like you go into YouTube and learning lock picking, and I didn't remember. That's probably something else. I just kind of reminds me of Scott in his house learning close-up magic.
I think it might have been that I got a lockpicking kit during quarantine just because it was something that I discovered on YouTube.
That's true. I do remember. Maybe it wasn't a movie. Maybe it was Jeff's life.
Brian B. Klein is saying that he thinks Wasp picked her handcuffs.
I have no doubt that she would do that.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. She had a bobby pin under her tongue when they were in the FBI headquarters.
Right.
Or not headquarters, but the FBI station.
Good
and
call.
Then,
good call, BVK.
And she had tucked in one of the reducing discs or whatever. She was like, I'm going to take out that wall. It looks load bearing, but we just got to run like hell.
Jeff, we're being asked, for those who don't remember, what was the significance of Jimmy Woo saying flourish?
In episode 2, when Vision and Wanda were having the magic show, and drunk Vision was just like, flourish! And instead of just doing it, he said it. And it was so great.
A flourish is something that a magician does. It's not supposed to be something they say. It's supposed to be like distracting motion to like distract from the trick. And he's saying flourish instead of doing it, which was something Drunk Vision was doing and now Jimmy Woo was doing. It's very good.
I love that he was so invested in the show WandaVision that he took one of the phrases from the show to use in his life.
That is so good. That is peak. That is peak Jimmy Woo. Oh, you're right. That's right. I didn't think about that. I thought about it as just like another magician doing a thing, but you're right. He watched the old episodes of this classic TV show WandaVision, and he picked up flourish from it. That's so funny.
It's so good.
And now if I ever do a magic trick again, I'm going to be like, flourish.
Flourish. Sure. Yep.
100%.
Yep. I need, like, based on this, I need Jimmy Woo in literally everything. He needs to be my through line.
Yeah.
Just because
he could be the new Coulson for sure.
Oh, no, don't say that, Matt.
I mean, I don't mean the death part.
Everyone remember, when Woo dies, it is Matt's fault. Remember this moment right here.
But it's also my fault when he gets 7 seasons of his own TV show.
Yeah.
There's
balance. There's balance in all things.
You put the woo in things, and then you have.
Yeah,
the woos of life. The woo.
Yeah, so you take the woo.
Don't woo me like that.
Don't woo me like that.
We got there, everybody.
Tom Petty has been sung on air. We can all go home.
Yep.
Okay, my work here is done. What are some other things we have not touched on yet in this?
The rest of the episode?
I mean, I like Wanda's condition, the boys disappearing, Vision having the conversation. Monica is something we haven't really discussed at all. She clearly has been honing her powers as she's like realizing her powers when she goes to such a kick in the teeth to us people who really wanted X-Men version of Quicksilver for it to be his name to be Mr. Boner. It was just
Ralph
like,
Boner.
Ralph Boner. Wait, he's not Ralph. Oh, he is Ralph. He is Ralph.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just realized that. So he and she took over his house. So she's saying like that's my husband Ralph. That was like a whole ploy, but really, and then we never see him until she uses him as Quicksilver. Okay, yep. I didn't catch the Ralph connection somehow. I just watched this, people.
I caught it in the middle of the night when I was super tired. I don't know.
Hey, you've had hours to think about this show, but Ralph, I just thought the boner thing was really funny.
So did he.
Yeah, I think that the boner thing is like is another word for like a joke or like that's a real boner, like a gag on someone.
I really didn't know where you were going as you were starting to explain what boner meant, and I was very concerned.
Some people use it as a word for gag.
No, it was a dumb thing to do.
Right.
It was a dumb thing to do, like a screw up.
Using that to reference them using X-Men Quicksilver in this. Oh, it was just a boner. Just like a throwaway thing that we did that's like not important, or I don't know. It's like, I feel like they were kicking me in the teeth with that. But also, I'm okay with it. It was still pretty good.
So the question that comes from that is, was he given Quicksilver powers by the necklace that was on him? Or was that only like, oh my Lord, was that a control collar like from X-Men?
That's a good point.
Like, was it only for control? Like, or did that also give him powers? Or did Wanda subconsciously give him powers whenever she saw him?
I don't know that we'll ever have an answer to that because either of those is possible. But if I had to guess, it was Agatha all along. If I had to guess, like it was just Agatha doing a spell on him that is some incantation she put on that collar that made him the Quicksilver that he needed to be.
Yeah. Can she instill superpowers though? Like, is that within her skill set?
I would think she could with like her witchy powers. Like she could probably give someone a limited time superpower of some sort. I don't know. I wouldn't see why not.
I mean, maybe. That would be giving power away, and she was not about that at all.
Well, giving power away into a person that all the time they were wearing the collar that give them power, she has control over them too, or like maybe. Yeah.
Is it really giving power if you're still maintaining control?
Exactly.
It's that whole Yellow Jacket thing. Like, what do you call the person that has the keys to the most powerful weapon in the world?
I don't remember what the answer is.
The most powerful person in the world.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
So the boss mama points out that one speculation is that Wanda actually gives him the powers because he doesn't have those Quicksilver powers until she acknowledges that this person is Pietro. Until she has that moment of like, you don't look like my brother, but you are my brother.
Right. It's possible. It's absolutely possible that in that case, then we still have to deal with the fact that Wanda has the ability to give people powers. Of course, I think it seems like there's something about the hex itself that was, I don't know if it's enhancing Wanda's power, but she seemed to have full control within this range. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like, maybe there's something to be said for that. I don't know. Like maybe she can do more within that hex than she can do otherwise. But now that she's studying, I don't know, man, she's going to be a powerful witch in Doctor Strange, and probably one that doesn't have all the rules that she needs to have.
Yeah, it's that whole like Spider-Man villains are like teaching science without the humanities. Batman villains are teaching theater without the humanities. And
so true.
WandaVision or Wanda going nuts is like teaching
mystical
psychology
arts
without the
oh yeah, like
Agatha.
Agatha's like dragging her through trauma, but not actually like giving her
not actually doing good things
her.
with it.
Yeah,
right. Like she's dragging her through trauma, but not like healing the pain.
Yeah,
that was good. That was really insightful of me.
Yeah, man.
High five.
Actually, hey, do that. Do a high five, and I'm gonna like throw it, and then you do the hand. It worked. It'll work. Ready?
Oh, okay.
High five.
Okay.
Yeah.
You two are so white.
Oh, man, you gotta make it racial.
That was really dumb.
That was really dumb, but I enjoyed it.
That was a bit of a boner right there.
Hold on, one more time. Ready? Go. Flourish.
Flourish.
Anybody have a podcast that needs a producer? Currently seeking work. I have a long resume.
All right, let's get into...
Jessica Maya gave us bits. She cheered. Well done, boys.
All right, for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, sorry about that. We're doing visual jokes on an audio podcast. Sorry about that. But available on YouTube now.
Just to pull you back to the conversation you had before, in terms of like, Spider-Man is STEM without the humanities. Jay Scotty points out that this show is Hogwarts without the humanities.
Yep. That's true. That is true.
Yep. And Jay Scotty's the guy to know about that.
It's true. He is. He knows all about Hogwarts.
It's another visual joke, you guys, on this audio podcast.
Is that? I don't. Well, kind of. It's a visual joke that isn't even here. It's a reference to another visual joke that happens in trivia night. So yeah.
So it's all visual.
It's all visual. Okay. So I thought this episode was super cool. Do you have any other areas that we were missing before we turn to the chat?
Let's see.
I'm sure there's lots, but I'm sure the chat will get there.
Honestly, like, let's discuss this. Let's talk about this. We haven't talked about this. Hayward went out like a bitch.
Hayward went out. The Hayward question is a big one because Hayward went out. The FBI's taken him in. It seems like we have all of the knowledge of what he just was trying to have a sentient weapon and create a sentient weapon, which is not their modus operandi of S.W.O.R.D. But like, what does this mean for S.W.O.R.D.? S.W.O.R.D. kind of went rogue with Hayward. Is Monica going to take over? She was sort of meant to take over, but now she's a sentient weapon. So what does that mean? And then the what is the scroll of it all going to mean? And did we get our first secret invasion clue here?
Yeah, it could have been. Honestly, like the thing that I like about Monica coming into her power, I think I was eventually trying to get there before we went slap happy. I like the slow burn of her learning how to use her power. Like she jumped in front of the bullets because that's what heroes do.
Right.
It was the thing that she knew that needed to be done is to get in front of the children because they're innocent, and Hayward is firing a gun at innocent children.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, she jumps in front of it, and then the bullets basically do nothing. And it's like, holy crap, this is a hero moment. But I don't know that she necessarily knew that she wasn't going to be riddled with bullet holes.
Yeah, and she did not know that was her power set yet. She has not faced a bullet. Well, yeah, she has not faced a bullet.
Yeah, I don't know
For a second I was thinking about her bulletproof pants, but
I don't necessarily know, or I don't know that she didn't know that was her power set, and I don't even know that she really realizes yet the full scope of her powers. And I love that. I love that she's like discovering that she has something about her that's special. And like with that, we're just kind of going to get little bits and building on her. And she's eventually going to become this hero. Like I love that slow burn like that, because like if she had just, you know, in every other superhero thing, it's just like, oh, I have powers. I know exactly how to use it fully 100% now. Like it's instant knowledge that aggravates the shit out of me with that. Cause like you wouldn't be able to do that. Anyway,
right. You have to sort of encounter the moments, which she's already encountered a few times, like where she saw different kinds of power. She saw the purple in the basement. She even saw the purple when she turned around to look at Ralph, we know now. And then that's what she did. She's like, how is she controlling you? And she looked down his body and saw the purple and ripped off the necklace. So we know she's using power set that she sort of established that she knows. And then, I don't think she knew when she stepped in front of that bullet. She was just trying to protect the kids. And Wiccan stopped one of the bullets, right?
Yeah, he did.
No, it's so good. So good.
I love it. I love it. He was like, I love that the kids were like, no, we can help, in that classic kids fashion. Mm-hmm. And then it wasn't it wasn't the usual super kids kind of thing where the parents are like, no, you have to sit this one out. I love that they turn to the kids and they just trust them. Like, we haven't prepared you for this day at all, but you were born for this. You guys handle the military. I got to go do some stuff.
I mean, there's definitely some ethical things we can talk about on superhero ethics about child soldiers, but like, that's
child super soldiers.
There's a little darkness there, but it's also very funny and poignant that like superpowered people, sentient weapons as they're called, like have the ability as children to take on the military. Like that's scary. I get why Hayward would be worried about that. And that moment where he says like, she says, you boys take on the military. We're going to be fighting in the sky. Like
you boys handle the military.
That's so silly and crazy. Wait, what was Vision doing at that point?
Fighting Vision.
Oh, I guess I thought that was over.
He was having the most navel-gazy of navel-gazing moments.
By the way, there was one fight moment that was mind-blowingly cool when I think it was like Agatha and Scarlet Witch are having like a fight in the square, and then like it pans up over the theater and you see the two visions lasering at each other in the sky. It reminded me a lot of Avengers in the New York scene where like the one-shot camera shows all the different fighters. Just like the production level, just through the roof, amazing. I have nothing but good things to say about this episode. I don't even mind that my theories weren't all correct, and so good.
Yeah, the thing that I was gonna say about Hayward is that it seemed kind of contrived how he went out, because like he fires the gun, and then that doesn't work, and he jumps in the Hummer to. I guess he's going to leave, or he's going to back up a lot and get a good running start to run over everybody. I don't know what he was thinking there, but then he gets hit by the Darcy car, and then that's it. He's just like, that's it for him.
Right.
He just looks and is like, what? And we don't see him again until it's like, you're getting arrested and bye. And like, it seems like I know that he's not, like, he's middle management, right? We've been saying he's the middle dick. He's not the whole dick. He is a whole dick, but he's not. Never mind. This analogy went sideways. Mm-hmm. But like he's middle tier, just corporate asshole as the villain, or as a
right. He's not a big
not
bad.
Even the main antagonist, right? He's not the big bad, and like we've been saying that, and so he shouldn't have some big thing, some big moment of like, a whole monologue that he gets to do and whatnot. But still, he could have had something, like he could have had something more than just jump out of the car, shoot the gun. Oh, that didn't work. Get hit with another car.
To me, that's kind of the point, is that he like shot his shot literally, and he goes in, he does his thing, and like he has nothing compared to these superpowered people. And these are the children, the children. He can't even stop the children. And then Monica, with her powers, steps forward, and he's just like, I'm out. Like, there's nothing to be done here. Wiccan mind controls a whole crew of soldiers, and then Speed takes all their guns, and then he steps forward and tries to fire the gun, and not even bullets that make it out of the guns have a chance against these guys. I love that. It's a scary moment, honestly, as a human in this world. It's a scary moment to be like,
we got beat by 10-year-olds.
Yeah, we got nothing against these types.
Yeah, I love that when Tommy comes back after like taking all the guns and everything, he's got one of the caps and sunglasses on.
Oh yeah, he grabs the cap and sunglasses of the last guy. He's like, guns, cap and sunglasses. So good. So good.
Look how cool I look.
Yep.
Like,
I love
classic 10-year-old thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get to the chat, because we have about 20 minutes left, and I want to make sure they have some time to get their reactions and theories in. Let's bring Mr. Fox onto the scene here.
Yeah, let's get the Mattastic Mr. Fox in here.
Yeah. Mr. Fox, what's happening in the chat?
We have a lot of great theories going on, a lot of great points. First of all, a number of people have made some reference to this, so I just want to say, as the sort of avatar of all these comments, CJ Hunt wrote in, "This is my feedback. Boner. Thank you for your time." That joke has been made. We can all now move on with our lives. Thank you, Mr. Hunt, or Ms. Hunt, or whoever Hunt.
Yeah,
thank you very
Mr.
much.
Hunt. Thanks, CJ.
So LV Carr wrote in, the line of grief preserving and the conversations between visions are what made this show so worth it. Wanda overcoming evil. I loved this narrative. There's been a lot of great comments about how much people enjoyed the grief discussions and vision, and just so much praise for the things that worked well here.
I feel like we have a very particular fan base too. Like our podcast, like I love it. I love it so much that like everyone's like, you know what I loved? All the conversations in this episode.
Yeah, right.
It was so good. It was so good. Yeah, well, the vision on vision conversation is something I think I'm going to treasure, because I had whoever said it first, the Star Trek reference there. It's so much that kind of like, can you out logic the logic machine?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. This is Spock having, literally this happens in Star Trek Mirror Mirror, the episode Mirror Mirror. Spock meets evil Spock, and they have a conversation like from the evil universe. And I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, good Spock convinces evil Spock that like he should be the beginning of the rebellion. And then it goes forward and there's like a rebellion in that universe. Like this was that episode. This is exactly that.
I just have this beautiful image of some person in the WandaVision writer room who was in a philosophy class in college 15 years ago, has never done anything with it, and got to send an email to the professor being, Professor, I got to put the ship of Theseus on television. It's going to happen.
Right?
Next comment.
Do anything you set your mind to.
Darkly Berkeley wrote in, as a therapist, I can tell you, Agatha did two things in the series with Wanda. From the first episode until episode 8, Agatha affirmed the delusions of Wanda while showing herself as an ally. And then she provided flooding by taking Wanda on flashbacks because things with Wanda didn't add up to Agatha. I thought that was a great point, looking how, like, from a mental health perspective, Agatha was just, like, incredibly gaslighting and manipulating Wanda this whole time.
Yeah, talk about gaslighting. Like, this is, she pretends to be her neighbor for the entire season and like gaslights her into believing this is all her doing and all this stuff. And she's definitely, for sure. She's manipulating and gaslighting and then, like he said, like flooding her with trauma without any tools to help her deal with that trauma.
Yep. Quick correction though. That's Dr. Kyle Berkeley.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm doing my best to interpret there from what I can see.
You're doing great. It's a running joke that we always use his full like letters and title, because he wrote it in once and had like 16 letters after his name, and he was like, that showed up.
R. Breeze just said something similar that I would also echo. R. Breeze wrote, as someone who struggles with PTSD, I love the undertones about grief and wanting to escape instead of dealing. I think that the show just did such a good job of that, like how much grief Wanda was dealing with. And of course, this escape fantasy would be so appealing.
It would. And oh, man. And having I'm about to cry. Having Vision and Wanda have the discussion of like Vision saying, you can fix this for everybody else, but not us. Right. And her saying, yeah, not us.
Yeah, this is going to end well for everyone, but not us.
Oh, God. It's so sad.
Everybody gets a happy ending but us. Like, Israel.
Yeah, I mean, it's that classic hero thing that, the Peter Parker can't be happy because he has to save everyone else. He can't ever save himself. He has to Monica said it. They'll never know how much you had to sacrifice for them. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly it. Monica, thanks for throwing that in everybody's faces. You're making us real sad, Monica, you jerk.
Well, I can throw in a bit of a happy thing from those moments. Blabby Abby wrote in, I loved so much that during the big fights, Vision was the one watching and comforting the kids.
Yeah. I mean, we get to see them be a loving family. Nobody had an argument with anybody else over directions to to where the fight's going to happen, or there wasn't any arguing. It was just like, all right, we accept we're a super family. Let's do it.
Yeah, the super family stance when they all stood against the military and Agatha, like that was great. That was very incredible. Awesome. It was very fun.
Yeah.
I mean, the kids argued because kids argue, but
and just watching Vision taking that nurturing role, like allowing it to be the gender flip there for a moment, I thought was just fantastic.
There's more in that though than just the gender flip. He's a synthezoid. Like he was originally an AI. Like this is a character who used to be just a voice without a body but no soul. And now he's a nurturing, loving, like he can cry. He shed a tear in this world now. Like this is a toaster for all intents and purposes, right? Like to call out the comics, but like this is a machine. He's like
both of those are great points. The fact that like she's the one with all the power and he's the one that is at home helping the kids in that moment. That is a nice visual representation of like a gender flip, and like they don't even really call it out. I honestly didn't even notice it, but it is very nice. But also what you're saying, Jeff, that it calls out that line that he says like I was a voice without a body, and then I was created into this machine, and then now I am a
memory made real.
A memory made real. Like there's such poetry in all of those lines. He's like, who knows what I will be next? I love,
and that's such great foreshadowing too, because White Vision just went and disappeared. Where is he now? What's he gonna be? Like, Well,
especially in terms of who's now taking over Sword if Hayward is being taken off by the FBI, and do they have any control over White Vision, or is White Vision just totally on his own?
It seems like he was under their control, but whatever Dream Vision released him, and now he has all the memories, but having the memories and having the experiences, are they just going to be two different things? Is he going to be like a fresh Vision that has to, relive and relearn? And I have a feeling he won't have the same connection to Wanda that he has here.
I think he does.
You think?
Just because, well, like it looked like Hex Vision unlocked those memories and unlocked the emotion tied to them. So like he has all those memories again. But the question that I have for it is, did he implant his memories from inside the Hex? So like, does he remember having a family with Wanda and being that married couple? Because it looked like all he did was just unlock what was there.
Yeah, I don't. When we see it flash, we don't see anything from inside the Hex. I don't believe. I'll have to go back and watch because it's first watch. But
the last memories that popped up were the Mind Stone exploding.
Okay,
and that's it.
Okay, so it seems that it's going to be all the stuff from prior, and he has those memories. But like I said, are memories the same as experiences? That's the question. Does this vision just have data? And that's what he said. He said, like, I don't have your memories. He's like, but you have the data, and I can, and your carbon-based synthoid memory is not that easy to erase. And he like unlocks the data, as he calls it, but I don't know that he has the same experiential memory of the love for Wanda. And is there a difference, is the question.
That's a good point. So we could well get that cold, the cold robotic white vision from comics, where like he has the data of, you know, knowing the past, but not any of the feeling. So like he doesn't feel the same toward Wanda. He doesn't feel the same toward the kids. Like, I am not your father, but I know that this body once was. Like, oh man,
yeah,
there's so much emotional toil in that. There's so much emotional there's so much emotional weight.
A lot of pathos with that character already, and we've only really seen that character for like 4 seconds, and he just he's like, I am the Vision, and just took off. Like, whoa, what do you mean you are the Vision?
And we've established that, like, the normal Vision has the power to change his appearance. Does White Vision have that same power?
He changed his eyes once he got unlocked.
In theory, White Vision could turn himself into the red gold of traditional Vision.
That's possible.
Yeah.
Oh, here's my question. I just realized his line, I am the Vision, and then took off into the sky, right?
Yeah.
That's after the Theseus discussion.
Yep.
So like he had this discussion about who should I destroy? I'm here to destroy.
Does he still have that directive?
Who is the Vision? And then he ends by saying,
kill myself.
I am the Vision, and then takes off to the sky. Like, does he end up with like? Does he still have that directive, or when he unlocks the data, did he also unlock his ability to make his own decisions?
I mean, that would be the very Star Trek answer. He flies into the sun. He destroys himself. Whatever that would be.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't stop my programming.
Yeah, it would be a very original series answer to have like, I talked the robot into destroying itself. That's like half the episodes of the original series.
Yeah,
pretty much.
But the what I took from it is that, like, he does say, you know, I am the Vision, and flies away, and I don't think that he's going to destroy himself. He had that conversation with himself of like, they locked away your memories, or they locked away your memories from you, and he has that understanding of like, so that I would be an easier weapon to control.
Yep.
And, you know, like Wu said, he didn't want to be anybody's weapon. Like, that's why he didn't want to be reactivated.
It's true. So it seems like he's able to overcome directives because he is still a sentient being. He's not just a murder bot. Although when he showed up and started crushing Wanda's head, I thought for a second he was just a murder bot. That was some dark stuff right there.
That was.
Especially like the way he like caresses her head, like and you think it's like a loving thing, and then he gets the other hand on there and starts crushing. That is dark.
And then he says, they told me you were strong. Oh, you gross.
So gross.
Are you all ready to dive into some theories? Because our fans, we have some theories.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Please.
So there was a lot of discussion back and forth about the whole Mephisto of it all and how do we feel about it. You know, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot of time to discuss that, maybe on the Monday morning discussion. But a couple of theories that were thrown out. First of all, from R. Breeze, the friend that the skull was referencing was a friend of her mom's, is Reed Richards. I know, but if it was Talos or Fury, she would have named them because we in the audience and Maria know them.
Does Maria know him? We don't know that, right?
Well, Maria did, not Monica.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maria knows him, but not Monica. Well, I guess no.
Could that be?
Yeah, she does.
Monica does. Monica met him as a child.
Yeah. So could the engineer be Reed Richards?
Uncle Fury.
Maybe. Maybe.
It does seem like it's weird that she didn't say Fury if she meant Fury, if she says, I have a friend instead of, unless like maybe Monica hasn't seen Fury since she was a child.
Yeah, she might not remember him. Like,
yeah, it's been a long time.
I met you once way back when.
Yeah, I remember you. I remember you when you were a little girl.
Yep. You sure have grown.
Wear my shoes.
Jess asks, did she send the boys in Vision into something similar to the mirror dimension?
Oh, man. I don't know.
Interesting question. So, like, could she have sent the elements that she wanted to maintain into some other place instead of making them just disappear?
You know, Disney had a recent release that was like a big deal on Disney Plus, the movie Soul.
Mm-hmm.
There's a thing where like souls are waiting to go into the world there.
Right.
And I feel like maybe they're referencing that. Because she says to the kids, like, thank you for choosing me to be your mother.
Right.
Like maybe she sent those souls back to the soul bucket.
Which is similar to what happens in comics, right?
Yeah, they do get reincarnated.
Right, but why are Billy and Tommy screaming for help? That's
I don't
the
know.
question. That's like, did she send them to are they in the Phantom Zone is what I'm asking.
Are they in the Phantom Zone? Are they in the Negative Zone? Are they in Mephisto's version of hell? Are they having a nightmare?
Right.
I mean, there's so many things that we could use to say, like, you know, Mephisto confirmed, you know, nightmare confirmed, multiverse confirmed. Like, it's really easy to keep doing that. I'll get the whiteboard here soon so that we can get that going.
Good.
Because, like, everybody in the town saying to Wanda, like, when you allow us to sleep, we have your nightmares.
Intense.
That's so, like, they mentioned nightmares again. And, like, of course, it's just she's in trauma, or she's experienced trauma. She's in mourning. She's dealing with grief. Of course, she's got nightmares. So, it's not a nightmare confirmed kind of thing. But,
right.
Like,
but speaking of nightmares and visions and dark visions of the future or whatever, like, when or worse fears, I guess, is what she did in Age of Ultron. When she gives her worst, Agatha her worst fear, and it's the idea of her being there with the witches that she killed, and then the witches wake up. But even though the witches are there, even though it's a vision given to her by Wanda, the witches wake up and still go after Wanda because of her, because of the Scarlet Witch power is so obvious. That was interesting.
Yeah. You are a witch. It has been foretold. Like, that was so creepy. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Like, it gave me all kinds of, like, rough feelings physically. I reacted to that scene.
Yeah.
Like,
it was dark.
For real.
Scary.
So this one, here on the Dirty Casual, you guys are going to need my help with, but Ellie Carr writes maybe the kids' voices are Chthon calling to her.
Chthon. Chthon is an elder god where basically one of the eldritch beings kind of thing, on the level with Agamotto, or not Agamotto, on the level with like Cthulhu and things like that.
Right.
But he as kind of the father of chaos magic, in the comics, he instilled Wanda with his power to kind of be his vessel into the world so that he could use her for that.
Right.
And he also wrote the Darkhold and put that into the world. He created the Darkhold.
So it's possible. Well, I was going to say, this is an idea that I was thinking earlier, is like those voices screaming may not be her and they may not be the kids. It may be some third party making her think that. And like, I was thinking just the Darkhold itself, for whatever that's worth. Like, we know that the Darkhold is like a book that has sort of dark intentions of its own from comics and from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right?
Yeah, I feel like this, though, invalidated Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And not only invalidated Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. by being like, nope, that's not the Darkhold, this is the Darkhold. It not only invalidated Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it invalidated the best season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, yeah. Yeah, it still happened in another universe, I guess. Yeah, it's a good point. The Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. connection is pretty tenuous here with the Darkhold. I mean, like, you could just say that the Darkhold is a book that has multiple copies, maybe? And this is just a different one?
There are multiple copies in the comics.
So I don't see why this Darkhold couldn't be the same book that is in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., really, right? There's no real reason.
I mean, there's, that's the when we had the discussion on Zoom after watching it this morning, we had that exact same train of thought. It's like, well, it can change its form in the comics, and there are multiple copies. So, there's nothing to say that this is not just a different copy, so we saved it. We saved Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you guys. It's still canon. Well, it's still there.
We did it again. We did it again.
Captain Headcanon to the rescue.
Yep.
So, yeah, that makes sense. It could be the same book. But, yeah, anyway, her point was that this could be Chthon, but I just think anything, the Darkhold itself or some being using the Darkhold to influence Wanda is like calling to her through the book. Possibly, and that maybe it's not her children at all. I think that's a really good theory.
Right.
Yep.
The movie marquee said Tannhauser Gate. Discuss. This comes from Waterfall Angel.
I don't know what that is.
That was the movie.
I know, but I don't know what it is. It's the movie on the marquee. And it was the movie on the marquee in the trailers, too. So we've seen it before. I don't know what Tannhauser Gate is. Anybody? Waterfall Angel, I require elaboration. Mm-hmm. Next feedback.
From Hera. In the Halloween episode, as we reach the outskirts of town, her powers are still enslaving people, but they aren't active. So does this mean her powers get lessened as she gets further away, or that she doesn't have an active role?
It's hard to know, especially now that we know that it was Agatha all along. So that scene could have been Agatha manipulating those people. It could have been Agatha drawing out the darkness of the situation. It's really, but that is what we assumed, was that the powers sort of lessened. / as she approaches someone, we also saw the powers glitching outside with Herb cutting through the fence. And that was just outside of her purview. So it's like maybe just the storylines that happen around her and her family are more. The power's more potent there because that's the story she's trying to tell them.
Man, that brings me back to Dottie when she's like, I'll do whatever storyline you want. Just let me hold my daughter. Let my daughter come out of her room.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I thought that was so nice because Dottie had been set up as one of the ultimate bad people. Like Dottie was awful in that version of it. So to get to see this heartbreaking moment from her specific and Annie was her actual name, I think.
Sarah.
I thought that was just such a great moment of the antagonist in the sitcom was even her, for her daughter to be locked away like that.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy T3 had written in regarding that. What do we think about the revelation that the children were imprisoned in their rooms? That was dark. Those children
really
were held
dark.
in magic for a long period of time. I still think those children could be very important going forwards for the children.
For the children.
It was so dark, and you only get to see the kids once a year. Like we said, the radio said that, and Ralph Boner, Quicksilver. There's going to be a portmanteau of that in some way soon. I'll figure it out. But Quicksilver, when he was still, Pietro in quotes, was talking to her on Halloween night. He was like, it's where have these kids been? Where have you been hiding them? Have they all just been in their rooms and then you let them out here? Is that what you allowed? It was so. There was foreshadowing there, and it was so dark. It was so dark. And then
well, it's
Dennis,
you handled the moral and ethical issues as best you could, especially now knowing that while they sleep, it's their nightmare. It's her nightmares. Are all the kids experiencing her nightmares every night?
Oh man, that's awful. So bad. Dennis the mailman saying to her, I'm so tired, because he doesn't ever get to sleep. He doesn't ever get to sit. He's always delivering the mail. He's always moving to deliver the mail. That's the only thing that she has for him, is that he's delivering the mail all the time.
It's crazy.
So to back up for a second, Waterfall Angel has given us the clarification we wanted. It's a quote from Blade Runner. The quote goes, and because Blade Runner, of course, is all about androids, and are androids actually alive, and what do they see and what do they know? And the quote is, "I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I've watched C-beams glitter in the dark near the Tannhauser Gate. All those moments will be lost in time like tears in rain."
Man.
So that's just kind of a cool thing with all this stuff about, is Vision alive? What is Vision? That they're throwing in that awesome Blade Runner reference.
That is awesome. That's really awesome. Sorry, I did not know that reference. That's really cool.
Yeah, thank you. Just to go back to what you're saying there, I think we're not done with the pain that Wanda has caused. And I know this is something we'll talk much more about on the Ethics podcast, but I want to just throw this out there for a second. Because, Matt, I like what you said there about how, Wanda, at least once she recognized the pain, she stopped it. But that doesn't change how many lives she touched, how many lives she affected.
Sure.
And especially given that the show took so much time to tell us, like, showing us how affected those people, showing us all these kids whose lives, I mean, those kids are serious traumatized, probably for the rest of their lives.
Well, the town does not forgive her. The town looks at her with hatred and scorn. Yeah. She's going to have consequences from this. I don't know how much the world is going to see those consequences. Like, I don't know how much the world is going to know what the PR of the situation will be, but
optics are.
The town hates her. The town experienced a horrible thing, and it's very likely that they're going to go forward telling the story of the horrible Scarlet Witch who came to their town and, did this horrible thing. Yeah. So I don't think she did get away consequence free. Yes, she flew away, but
and that's the fact that she did all of this and then just ended it with, I don't understand this power, but I will. And then she just flies away and Monica's like, bye, Wanda. Like, have fun. Like, what?
Yeah, that rubbed me so wrong.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I really loved about it was, and this is not related to her consequences or whatever, but one of the things we've complained a lot about with her and Carol is the lack of definition of their powers. And I love the idea that Wanda's mission now is to go understand her powers. And maybe if she can understand her powers, we can too.
Bring us along on that journey.
Yeah. And maybe that's part of Multiverse of Madness and her journey going forward is she is going to be experiencing what her powers can do and what they mean and how they work in a way that we've never seen on screen. And it makes me excited because it's like they heard me as a fan, I want to know what her powers mean. And she's like, I don't know what these powers do or what they mean, but I will. And I'm like, yes. Yay.
Hera points out that there are some people who got unblipped only to then almost immediately be enslaved by Wanda.
Oh, God.
Or worse, they because people that are unblipped, they didn't experience the 5 years of pain. There are people that got their families back who immediately got enslaved. They just got Sarah could have just gotten her daughter back. You know what I mean? We don't know. But that's she just got her daughter back.
Cutting onions in here again.
And then they locked her in a room for weeks.
You gotta hurt me like that, Matthew Carroll.
Sorry. It's some dark things. It's a really dark. The whole experience is horrible and dark.
As kind of a last question, this might be a whole thing to go into on your next podcast, but a number of people brought up some version of this, so I want to throw it out as a question. Obviously, there was so much, theorizing that we did. There was no Mephisto. There was all. Just love to hear you guys talk about that. What's your kind of overall feeling of this experience now that we were able to come up with all these theories that Jeff, as you said, it turned out we were wrong, but you're kind of blaming yourselves. Would love to hear you two talk a little bit more about that, the lack of Mephisto, the lack of there was no Strange at the end. How are we feeling about it all?
Well, having it be the devil made me do it is such a cop-out, especially for, this was caused by Wanda's pain, Wanda's grief, drove her to do this thing. Even if she didn't realize that she was doing it, putting the blame on something else, some, multiversal entity, whatever, it would not have been as emotionally impactful. And as much as I want Mephisto, as much as I want there to be that, that comic story, I just don't know that it would have been as good. And I don't know that I would have liked it. I just, I know that I put too much on this series after, a year and a half of not getting anything. I'm like, give me everything.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to expect that, mm-hmm. I should have known, but it was fun. It was fun this past 8 weeks to speculate like that. To have fresh content to speculate about. It was
so much fun.
it was so much fun to dive into the whiteboard, even if the whole whiteboard gets thrown out at this point.
I agree completely. Like the whole Quicksilver reveal, I'm like at once like disappointed because I was very excited about the idea of the multiverse. But the fact that for like 2 or 3 weeks, I got to like really ponder all those things that may never happen on screen. And in a lot of ways, I'm glad they aren't. Like, I don't really want the X-Men to be canon in the MCU. Like, I've never wanted that. But it was really fun to get the chance to explore those ideas on the podcast and enjoy the discussions with friends and not actually have it infect my MCU. Like, that's such a fun thing they did. But here's the thing. After, 2 months of pushing back on Mephisto because I was annoyed at the Mephisto idea, let me end this run of WandaVision episodes by saying there is one thing in this season that was not sitcom-y and did not seem in the control of Wanda. And that is the townspeople saying, "For the children." Every time they did that for the children shit, Wanda and Vision were like, "What's going on? Like, that's abnormal. That is not part that's not part of the simulation." That did not pay off. And and the last thing that happens in the episode is the children are somewhere yelling for their mom's help. So I'm going to end this run of episodes by saying, Mephisto confirmed.
Mephisto confirmed. Thank you. God, I've just been waiting for you to say it.
So Jess has actually a great thought, though, that because Jess says, I thought that For the Children is explained by Sarah and I guess all the parents wanting to get to her daughter. That like For the Children was kind of that way of all those people being like, let's get Wanda what she wants so that we can have our children. We can like stop our children being locked away.
That's beautiful. I was going to end this episode on a joke, but that's way better. That's way better. The idea that like, this is actually really beautiful, Jess, and really sad. The idea that like, because the more we've learned about the people of Westview, they did seem conscious. They did seem like they could push back on the programming if they wanted to. A lot of times they would look at Wanda and go, "Is there anything I can do for you?" That sort of thing. Like they're conscious of what's going on. And the fact, like, can you imagine that they're playing along and they're for the children is like something maybe they discuss off screen. They're like, just keep doing this. We have to keep working with her for the children. Yeah. We don't want to anger her. We don't want to make her angry. We don't want to make her hurt our children.
So good.
When Herb was saying to her, like, I resisted you for the longest time, and then I'm not even sure why. Like, the fact that he just gave up on resisting this whole mind control thing, and like, you had me speaking in a way that it wasn't my voice. I didn't recognize my voice. And like that actor, like the way that he was speaking there was very different from the Herb that we got in the show where he's like, "Hey buddy." Like, oh, it was so deep. There were so many layers to it. But Agatha, when Wanda took her power and locked her down, she was saying, "You don't know what you've unleashed."
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
What did she unleash? What was Agatha holding back with her power?
Well, so there's three things there. three possibilities that I see immediately is, okay, I'll take one away. Two possibilities. Okay. Sorry, thinking it through.
I still want that third
what
one,
you
though.
said, just like we talk about when Doctor Strange leaves, there's all this stuff that might be freed because he's missing for 5 years.
Yes.
So, like, yeah, maybe there's something that Agatha did trap that was good. But this, I should use the other finger. Or I think it's the thing we see at the end reading the Darkhold. It's the Scarlet Witch. She like unleashes her full power, and that's what she's unleashed is the Scarlet Witch. This like, we've talked about how in comics it's sort of a parallel to the Phoenix Force.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like what if the Scarlet Witch is sort of this other entity that she has let fully inhabit her now, and now that it has her sipping tea on a porch while the Scarlet Witch entity is in there preparing, to do whatever.
I still don't like that though. That's still the devil made me do it. Well,
the devil didn't make her do any of this. It's just
anything that she does
now.
bad after that. If that's the case, is that's that other force inhabiting me. Like, it wasn't my fault. I didn't turn bad. It was something else inhabiting me. Well, like, I don't like that.
That's true.
I like, if she's gonna have a villain turn, like, let it be her decision to do the villain turn. Like,
I generally
Monica
agree
said, like, don't let him make you the villain, and she's like, maybe I already am. Like, yes, embrace it, Wanda.
Or at least embrace it, Marvel. Like, let her be the villain if she's going to be the villain.
Embrace her agency in this decision.
Yeah. I agree with that in general, but also the idea of some sort of possession or something going forward isn't the worst thing. The idea of Westview being all her, I like the fact that we've gotten this far, and Westview is her fault. She did this. She didn't realize she was doing it, but she did it. And now she has to live with those consequences and live with the pain and the grief and the regret from all of this. But going forward, there's always the idea of a good possession storyline. I don't mind that. She unleashed something.
One thing I will point out here is Monica specifically says they will never know what you sacrificed. Like saying, like, you gave up your family for all of them. Yep. So if at the end she's like, well, like, if at the end what we see is Wanda still trying to get her children back to some extent and playing with dark powers to do that, maybe she didn't actually she made one sacrifice, but she's still not willing to actually let go. She's still willing to possibly hurt people in order to get what she wants. Yep. I think that line from Monica is supposed to be very important, of Wanda actually hasn't made the sacrifice yet, and we have a lot of badness from the actual Scarlet Witch Wanda coming. Because I agree with you, Jeff. I want it to be like, if she makes a conscious decision to partner with darker energy, then she has the agency. Because you're right, if it's just, oh, poor me, I was so sad, and then someone took advantage of me, then it's like, there's no agency there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, it's tropey. It's bullshit. Like, let us have a hero that turns into a villain based on their decision to do that. All the pieces are there. All the motives are there. Like, she's got all the pieces to become that villain and snap and take that dark turn. Like, just let her do it. If that's what the character requires, if that's the way that the character's going, let it just be her. And, embrace it.
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
I dig it.
Even if they have to have like a multiverse version of like a different multiverse version of Wanda come in to stop her, be like, I heard that me from a different place is doing bad things. Let me put an end to this. That would be kind of like what we're getting with Gamora, where it's that different version of Gamora coming into our verse and having experiences without those ties to those old memories. Yeah, these stories write themselves, you guys. Like, cut the check. Come on, Marvel.
There's so much to unspearl from this show.
I know we need to wrap up, so I'll just close with Apple Juice Girl writes in, will Monica be the new head of S.W.O.R.D.?
I think
probably not.
No? You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think it's Fury.
Maybe.
I mean, who gave authorization to acting director Hayward?
That's what I was going to say. He may already be the head of S.W.O.R.D., but she might be the new acting director, I guess is what I'm getting at. Like, that's he's out in space, she might be the new acting director while waiting on Mr. Fury to come back.
It's been Fury all along.
Bam, 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 bam. Oh man, speaking of Chris Hayes in the Facebook chat yesterday, it was a joke from After Dark, but like Chris Hayes sent in Ashley, our producer Ashley, sent in a video of her, put in the Stranded Panda chat, a video of her dancing the Britney Spears dance to Britney Spears, and Chris Hayes took it and like molded it and turned it into the into an Agatha All Along dance. And it's amazing. And
so good.
That was
with
not
the
one
purple filter over it.
Yeah. The purple filter is so good. So much fun. So I took that and added to the TikTok, which, by the way, I went viral on TikTok yesterday.
Yeah, it was a good theory. It was a good theory of Wanda being an unreliable narrator.
It's crazy. Yeah, I've it was the Stranded Panda TikTok. If you guys have not checked it out, we have a TikTok and we just started kind of adding stuff there. It's like we have like 7 TikToks up, but and mostly clips from the show. But then like yesterday I did a theory video and it went viral. We got like 115,000 views on TikTok. I was like, what? I've never gotten 115,000 views on anything I've ever done in my life. So that felt really good. So if you guys could probably keep the TikTokness rolling if you go over to TikTok and search for Stranded Panda. We're over there.
TikTok don't stop.
That's right. Did you have anything you want to plug, Mr. Fox, before we head out?
Yeah, a couple quick things. First of all, I just wanted to say I am so glad I got to be a part of this experience with you all and got to be both the kind of engineer and the questions. And I really love that how much you all have been so open to the questions from the fans and from myself. I at one point mentioned myself as a dirty casual on here, and a couple people piped up about that in the chat, and I just wanted to say that's a term I claim with a lot of pride. Like, I have come to the MCU, I never really got into comic books, and I love the fact that we can have this nice balance here of the folks who are really deep in the comic books, know all this stuff, and can bring in that knowledge, and then folks like myself who haven't read the comic books but still love these stories and are curious about it. So just I think I may have used the term dirty casual without making clear that I was talking about myself earlier. I have done that in other episodes, but just to be clear there, for me, it's very much not a derogatory thing. It's something I claim with pride, and really love that the MCU cast and our whole Stranded Panda community is so big about, wherever you come from on this, whether you're so deep in the knowledge or whether you're just watching these shows the first time, you're great, you're welcome, and you're part of these conversations. And I think you guys have just done such a great job of making that happen.
Yeah, I mean,
thanks, Fox.
Gatekeeping only separates, and that's not what we want.
And when you say dirty casual, you're not trying to gatekeep. You're trying to say, you're actually doing the opposite. You're trying to say that, like, it's cool that we're all welcome here, even though I'm a dirty casual, which is great.
It's a self-effacement.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so you invited the plugs for anybody who wants to check out more of the kind of stuff I'm doing. First of all, Matt Carroll is going to be on an upcoming episode of Superhero Ethics that'll probably go up next week. You check out the Superhero Ethics podcast. And actually, we did just put up an episode that's all about altered carbon and this whole idea of copying the self and who is the self. And I'm really wishing we'd talked about the ship of Theseus, because it's those same kind of ideas.
Very related, yeah.
But on the Star Wars Universe podcast, we've got a couple great things going on. This Sunday, we're doing a watch and then recording an episode of The Force Awakens, just like what we did here. And that'll be at 2 p.m. on Scener and 4:30 p.m. on Twitch. And you can find all that information by going to strandedpanda.com. By going to theethicalpanda.com. I'll be posting all that up there. Or just finding me on the Stranded Panda chat group on Facebook. We post all of it there. And then next Sunday, Sunday the 14th at 3 p.m. Eastern, we'll be having our first Star Wars trivia. It'll be just like the Marvel Cinematic Universe trivia nights, and actually points from that will carry over to the MCU League. And Jeff Randall has put together another one of those awesome light up lamp things with the Star Wars Universe podcast logo. You can see it right there. So great prize. Nice. Star Wars trivia on March 14th, 3 p.m. Eastern at Stranded Panda TV on twitch.com.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. And it's going to be Sunday afternoon, right? What time?
Yep, Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern. 3 p.m. So all of our European friends can check in during their evening.
Yeah. So I love when we could get a chance to do things during the early afternoon like that, because people can, or afternoon or whatever. People from across the pond can join.
We need to make this international. I recently found out that Superhero Ethics is the number 13 podcast in Belize. I don't understand how that happened, but I'm super proud. So wherever you are, anywhere in the world, anywhere in the multiverse, you are welcome as part of our podcast.
Yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it.
I want to point out for the mathletes out there that I realized that this trivia is going to be on Pi Day, and I'm excited.
Ooh, good point.
Maybe there'll be some extra math questions. No, there probably won't be extra math questions.
No, we're just going to eat pizza. That's all it is.
There you go.
Okay, I'm in. I'm coming.
I'll be there.
Actually, I think I might be driving to Dallas that day. Maybe I'll like be listening to it while I drive from Dallas or drive to Dallas, if I can get enough internet to do that. Okay, last thing we wanted to mention is if you have been following along this journey of WandaVision with us and you've enjoyed yourself and you're joining up with the podcast maybe for the first time, we really appreciate you. And we're going to be going on doing all this Marvel stuff for the rest of the year. We've got Falcon and Winter Soldier starting in just 2 weeks. We're going to still be doing episodes all the next couple weeks. We got feedback episode on Monday, and then we'll have Falcon Winter Soldier. So much more to talk about. If you've enjoyed that and if you're up for it, please consider being a patron. We're really trying to grow the show and grow the network. We've got lots of ideas, but time is a factor, and getting to do more of this requires some more support. So patreon.com/MCUcast, and just $1 per episode we only ever charge once a week, so it's weekly. So if we don't do an episode, you don't get charged. If we do 5 episodes in a week, which we've done before, and right now we're doing 2 every week, sometimes 3, you only get charged once. So it says per creation, but we only ever charge once a week. So if you're enjoying what we're doing, consider joining at the $1 level, even the 50 cents level. Like any of that stuff, really, you can do it any amount, and it all really adds up. If enough people support, then we get it really makes us be able to do this more and create more content. We've got some really cool ideas for some YouTube exclusive content for the network, and doing some cool things like that. So we'd love to have your support. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys in the live chat for joining us. You're awesome. We'll be back soon. Peace.
Until next time, true believers.
Thank you for joining us for the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast, available everywhere you get podcasts, and now a video version streaming live on twitch.tv/strandedpandatv and available at youtube.com/strandedpanda. And if you'd like to learn more about all of our other podcasts, geeky projects, and ways to support the network, visit strandedpanda.com.